Hi, my name is Robert Sharash. We are here in Victory Training Center in Montreal.
Training with Rob, I guess it's been a couple of years now. He came over, it's been over 2 years now. He came over to my gym when I started it up after a few months, the Victory Training Center. And when he first came to train with me, he was, I would say he's probably more of a grappler. He was stronger in grappling. He liked doing grappling better than striking, I think. But then pretty quickly, I think, with some time and some training, we developed a lot of other aspects of his game. We improved his wrestling a lot, his striking, everything. To try to, that's how I approached it, to try to really develop him better as a well-rounded fighter, which is what you need to do in MMA. You really can't be good in one area. You really need to be well-rounded, good pretty well everywhere to make it to a high level. So we worked a lot on that, and I think the results showed. At the beginning, like with everybody at the beginning, you're not really sure. The fighter's not really sure about the coach's not really sure about the fighter. You're still trying to build trust with each other. You're still trying to build confidence in each other, and it takes time. There's no shortcuts. So we've done 3 pro fights together, and from what I've learned and what I've been told by coaches that mentored me before, that it takes usually around 3 fights for a coach and a fighter to click, for them to be on the same page pretty well, mentally, physically with the training, and for them to click. And I think the last fight, I think that pretty well clicked really well. We had all 3 fights that I worked with Rob on, he finished them in the first round. The first 2 was by submission. This last one was by a KO. We worked actually a lot on his striking during that training camp. I'd say maybe 90% of the work we did was just on striking. And I think it showed. The results showed. And he's always been a super hard worker right from the beginning. Very humble. He's been very easy to coach. Real pleasure to coach, because he really just comes in and he doesn't question. Whatever I'm asking him to do, he's going to do it. And with time and with the victories, when you win, it's easy to have confidence. When you're winning, that's what makes everything. If you're not winning, then yeah, maybe you have to fix something. There's something wrong. But when we're winning, and we're winning as well as he's winning, his wins have been very impressive. And I always knew he was really good. I always knew his potential. But he's one of the rare people that even surprises me by their potential, because he actually outperforms expectations. Because I've trained a lot of fighters now, and some fighters will live up to your expectations, some will be below it, and he's one of the few people that have really exceeded my expectations. I always had confidence, especially this last fight, that he was going to do well, but he really exceeded my expectations. I didn't even believe that he would do as well as he did. So now when I see that, and with each and every fight, he just continues to keep exceeding my expectations. So now I'm like, okay, I shouldn't be surprised. Really, we can really go far. If he keeps his progress, he's jumping by leaps and bounds. Compared to what he was 6 months ago or where he was a year ago, it's people don't understand. When you have a fighter that works as hard as he does, with as much talent that he does, he can make huge progress in really short periods of time. And he's a person that's been tested under fire. He's battle tested. He was a paratrooper in Afghanistan with the French Foreign Legion. So I think that gives him a certain edge in the training. He understands discipline and hard work, and he's been tested. So for him, when he came into MMA, I think it was probably an easy transition for him in a way. I think he was just missing some things technically, and we made a lot of progress on that. And that's something, as martial artists, it's something you're always going to do. You're always going to work on your technique, because we're never going to be the best. You can't ever be the best. So it's a lifelong pursuit. And as a fighter, you're trying to pursue that throughout your entire career, to just be the best technically as you can. Everyone's always going to have areas where they're not as good, or some shortcomings, but with time and with training and experience, you can overcome those things. I think one of the things with Rob is he's one of the few fighters that I've trained that were just 100% there mentally. And, you know, there's a lot of fighters, they have all the tools physically. There's lots of fighters that Rob's even trained with that I think are probably technically better than Rob when he trained with them. But when you put them under the spotlight to perform, they don't perform. Because it's a different thing, you know. The performance, and people don't understand that. Sometimes the people that look the best in the gym look the worst in a performance and in the ring. Some of the people that look the worst in the gym actually turn out to look the best when it comes time to perform. Because, you know, when someone looks the worst in the gym, and I'm not saying he looks the worst, but I'm just saying, you know, he's always working on rounding out his game. So he's not the person that's just only works on the things that he's the best at. You know, and at the beginning maybe it was like that, but with some time, and I tried to emphasize to him a lot, you know, to work on other parts, and he did. And, you know, that makes a big difference. You know, that whole mental side, and, you know, everything, you know, in the training, the way he conducts himself in the training, but even when we get to the fight, he's very calm, he's very cool, and it's not out of a cockiness or anything like that. It's just, you know, I think of his experience as a soldier helps him with that, and his background and everything like that, and it makes a big difference. You know, it's a certain edge that he carries into a fight that a lot of other fighters don't have, and as we saw in all his fights that he's had, you know, when I'm in the cage with him right before the fight starts, and I can see his face, I can see how he is physically, and I can see his opponent, and I saw his opponent. His opponent wasn't there the same way. And he was not ready and prepared the same way Rob was. You know, Rob has all the physical preparation, but he also has a mental preparation, and that's essential. And that, I think, that probably gives him a bigger edge than a lot of other fighters that he's going to face. That mental preparation, that mental edge that he has. Everything from even his walkout music. You know, we come out and he's playing the Gladiator music, and he knows why he's there. He knows what he's doing. He's totally clear in his head. He knows exactly what he needs to do, and he does it. And he does it as quickly as he can. You know, this last win, it was in 10 seconds. So, you know, that only comes from focus, mental focus, discipline, and he's highly motivated. He knows exactly what he needs to do, and I think that can really make a big difference in all of his future fights and really carry him to a high level. Because it's essential. Without that, you can't really go to a high level. You can't be a champion without that. Because when Rob came to me, he had already started in pro, and I told him I thought he should do a little bit more in amateur and get a little bit more experience. And at the beginning, he didn't like that idea, you know, but he listened. We put him, I think, two more fights, and gave him a little bit more time. And then, boom, when he came back to pro, he's on a 3-fight winning streak, winning in the first round, and turning everyone's heads and impressing everybody. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the fighter. It's not the coach that's in the ring, it's the fighter. So the fighter has to execute it. And he's been doing an amazing job. He's been, you know, his application of everything that we try to do in the gym and how I try to coach and how I try to teach, I think he's a great representative of that.
Hey, no more partying. Yeah, I know. What's the last time you
Well, he's easy to talk to. He's always encouraging. He doesn't put other people down. He lifts up the other fighters. Whenever he trains with people who aren't as good as him, he lets them work. He he doesn't try to kill them in sparring, as no one should, and he always helps you improve, no matter what your weakness is.
Hi, my name is Adam Sallans at Victory Training Center. I'm here with my friend and training partner Rob Sears. So far, it's been a pleasure training with him. The man's a beast in the cage, obviously. Training with him, it's nice and smooth. No injuries with him. What I know about him so far is that, but I'm looking forward to getting to know him a lot better inside the gym and maybe even outside of the gym. It'd be good. As a training partner, it's the best. You know what I mean? I keep finding myself in crappy positions. He helps me get out of them. Thank you for that. He's got a brutal crucifix. I hate it because he always gets me in it. He's got hammers for fists. If you look at his last fight, it's very clear. Hammers. Good grappling, that's for sure. He's all around. He's an all-around fighter. That's it. There's no real loopholes with Rob, you know. And if there is one, he seems open to work at it and make it better. And that's what's going to make him a really good fighter. He's going to go far in the sport. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. You know, if he chooses to, he's going to do really good. Watching his fight, it helped me as well. And you know, when he spoke softly to me, he's like, "Just keep going, keep going." He's got a nice, cool. There's a nice aura about him, you know. He's a fighter, but gentle, which he's a hard worker. It's clear the man's a soldier, right?
I want to thank my wife, my parents, my brothers, sisters, everyone in my family for supporting me.